So even if spring hasn't quite sprung all the way, like it hasn't here, it's cold and cold. There are still lots of things you can do to embrace spring and the earth waking up. One of those things is making wild violet jelly or dandelion jelly. I use the same recipe for both. It's amazing. It's even a little magical with some color changing potion action happening. So stay tuned. It is cold. Let's go do it. One of my most favorite seasons is spring. We go through a winter that is dark and gloomy, and it seems like it lasts forever.
Forever.
Spring finally comes, the trees start to bloom, the flowers pop up, the bees come out, the earth is waking up again, and it's just really cool. As soon as the weather starts showing signs of being spring, I cannot wait to get out into the garden. However, you have to be patient, and that can be really trying. I, in fact, have been very impatient many times and planted a garden. It was just much too early. For instance, today it's only 50 degrees, but in the last week we've had temperatures in the 70s. So you just have to be patient and wait for that right time. There is still a lot of stuff happening that you can take advantage of in the spring before it's time to put your garden in. One of the ways we like to celebrate or embrace spring is just by being out in nature. You will see a lot of life happening, from the bugs to the butterflies to the worms, buds on the trees, the flowers starting to pop up. It's just a really exciting time. We also like to forage for things that are edible. Florals and herbs and mushrooms. A couple of those things are dandelions and wild violets. We do this every single year. We have an abundance of dandelions and wild violets, and they are some of the first food for the bees and butterflies and all of the other pollinating insects that need those flowers for food. Make sure when you are foraging that you leave some for our friends as well. In this video, I am going to show you how we make our floral jellies. We are using wild violet. What you need to do to begin with is go out into nature, into your yard, go out to a park, and find yourself some dandelions or some wild violets. I take a mason jar that holds up to 4 cups and I fill the mason jar, so you are going to need 4 cups of dandelions or 4 cups of wild violets. After you have your 4 cups of your flour, you are going to rinse them off in cold water. If you're foraging for wildflowers, to make sure that there aren't any dogs that are using these flowers as somewhere to potty. Once you have them completely rinsed, if you've chosen to use dandelions instead of wild violets, you are going to remove the yellow petals from the green part of the dandelion. I use this process here. It takes a while, but it's worth it. The greens can be bitter. And then you are going to put them back into your jars, completely cover them with filtered water. You could use tap water if you want. Let them soak overnight. After they have soaked overnight, you're going to notice that the water in your jars is a nice pretty color that represents the color of the flower that is in each jar, and the violets have a really deep pretty blue color, and we're going to magically turn that into a really pretty lavender purple color here in just a minute. This is the water that you're going to use as your base for your jelly. You want to have at least 3 cups of the water strained off of your flowers. So what's really cool about this, see how deep and dark purple this is? This is the violet juice that we strained. Add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and you have this beautiful light purple color. It's so awesome. So in each one of your waters, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to the dandelion and to the violet, and you get this. All of that yummy goodness, you are going to pour it into your pot, bring it to a boil, and once it has come to a boil, you're going to add a full pack of this pink package of Sure Gel. Once you have that all mixed in really well, you are going to let it boil for another 1 to 2 minutes. When you're making jams and jellies, the amount of sugar that is called for in these recipes is out of this world. It just does not make sense to me. If you are wanting the goodness and the vitamins and the minerals and the health benefits of a natural foraged flour, that you would then douse it in something like sugar, and it just does not make any sense to me that you would do that. It completely defeats the purpose of why you are choosing to eat the wild violets or the dandelions to begin with. So, and that's how I am with every single recipe that I make. I do not add sugar unless I absolutely do not have another choice. So in this recipe, we are going to be using honey. Add 2 cups of honey. After you add your honey, bring to a boil for another 2 minutes, stirring the entire time, and then remove from the heat. Once you have removed your jelly from the stove, you can start putting it into your jars. I ideally would like to have them in the small jelly or jam jars, but we only had one of those left, so I'm using these bigger ones. So I did not fill them up all of the way to the top. And once you have them full, you're going to put your ring and your lid on them. And then the next morning you have a set up beautiful purple jelly. Look at this. Spread it on your toast, on your breads. We also made these Beltane cookies that my friend Alwyn Oak made last year, I believe. I will leave her channel down in the description below and her link to the video where she makes these cookies. We ended up water bath canning our jellies, and because you add the 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice, you can totally do that. That's a whole nother video though. Super easy. Don't let canning intimidate you, because I did for many, many years, and I still kick myself in the butt for that. So if you want to preserve the things that you're making, like these jellies for example, definitely look into canning, either water bath canning or pressure canning, because you have to use one or the other depending on what you are trying to preserve. Anyways, these turned out really amazing. I hope this video was helpful for you. Go out into nature, and even though it is freezing and I'm wearing 2 sweatshirts today, we still went outside, spent a lot of time outside, and just appreciate the stuff that is happening and letting us all know that spring is well on its way. I hope you guys find some inspiration in this video and you make some violet jelly or some dandelion jelly, and I will see you again next time. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Goodbye!